Now we have to spend a little bit of time looking at the restore process, so restoring our data. Another really important system for you to become familiar with. So the first time you need to be doing a restore isn't in an emergency. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our command line where we can practice our restore. This is really important. We can use the tar -x to extract, and then the option -f to point to our file. Now, restoring is going to restore to the current location. Not putting everything in my home directory, but they're going to be underneath the USR, share, and doc directory, but relative to my home directory. So the contents now we can see is sitting here, but all underneath my home directory. So this is a perfect trial restore. We can check that we're able to do it, and we can see that the data is here. We could also use the data if we wanted to without overwriting the original data. So many advantages in doing this. But let's say we do actually want to restore to the correct location. We've had a little bit of a disaster and we need to recover from that disaster. Well, there are actually a couple of ways that we can do it. First off, though, we're going to move to our root file system. So CD / relative to this directory, the root directory, we do have USR share doc. So this would work if we restored here. Now, you don't need to do this, but to prove the effectiveness of the restore, I'm going to delete the USR share doc directory. But do take care and don't do this if you don't want to. So sudo rm -rf to recursively delete everything in our USR share doc directory. So we're removing the doc directory and everything in the doc directory. Now, this is not so bad. We're on a test system and we have verified our backup. So now if I try and list the contents of USR shared doc, that directory and all of its content is now gone. Who deleted it? Did anybody see anyone delete it? I certainly didn't see anybody delete it. So let's make sure we're not blaming anyone. But don't worry, we can be the superhero because we know how to run our restore. So sudo and tar, we're working in the root file system. So the relative path is going to work for us. So -xf, ~tux to point to tux's home directory, and /doc.tar. And that's it. Everybody relax because the files are back in place. And as I said, we are now superheroes. But this was only one way of doing the restore. There are two ways that we can do the restore to the original location. CD- takes me back to my previous directory, which was then the USR shared doc directory, my home directory. But let me now go through and CD back to my home directory. And from here, I'm going to go through and do a sudo tar -xf and then doc.tar. But if I include the option -C, we're going to be pointing to a new working directory. My current working directory at the moment is home, but if I then point this through to the root file system, we're restoring as if I was in the root file system. But do let us test this properly. Are you brave enough to try deleting the doc directory again? So let's do a sudo rm -rf, pointing through to USR, share, and doc. So now that is deleted. And let's do a sudo tar -xf, and then pointing through to our doc.tar, and then the -C. So we're working in our root file system. So we've now restored. And if I look at /USR, share, and doc. Our directory structure is back there, thankfully.